Hi again then guys, and welcome to another episode of Beards and Cars. For those who are maybe new here, which is probably a fair few people since we haven't done one in a couple of weeks, this is a more informal series on the channel where we talk about subjects and topics which are related to gaming or cars or the channel or YouTube in general, but maybe they don't fit into any other videos in the week. It's not a specific car review or a tune setup, it's more like channel talk, if you want to think of it that way. Now, first thing on the whatever list, the ledger this week, is regarding the giveaway. Now, I said, of course, in the 15k giveaway video last Saturday, which, incidentally, it's crazy that last Saturday we passed 15,000 and now we're past 15,500 in 1 week. That's absolutely insane. Pretty awesome as well. But, in particular, I said, of course, in that video that I was going to release the video of the actual winners on Facebook only instead of on YouTube as well. That is still the case, but what I'm going to do is, instead of doing both hat draws for the grand prize and the games today, I am going to do the game winner drawing out of the hat today, and then tomorrow I'm going to do the drawing out for the grand prize. Now, there are more people entering for the grand prize, which is fairly obvious. I thought that there would be, but funnily enough, statistically speaking, you're actually more likely to win if you opt in for the games. Now, the competition is now closed as of the release of this video, so it's too late for those who are new, unfortunately, but don't worry, you will get another chance. Many of the games which were on offer will still be on offer next time. Plus, I literally bought a whole nother pile of games today for the next giveaway. I generally buy more games, if possible, every Saturday. And of course, the next giveaway will probably be at the 20k mark, so the next giveaway will be purely based on how quickly we get there. And of course, you guys always help out with that, with sharing, recommending to other people, etc, etc, and I appreciate all of that. Some of you have specifically told me about friends that you've shown the channel to. Sometimes I've joined lobbies online, especially on Gran Turismo 6 a while back, where I would enter a lobby and people who didn't even know who I was, because they didn't know that my PSN wasn't the same as the channel, and I hear them talking about the channel, and it's really cool when that happens. And then when you're talking to the mic and they suddenly realise who you are. Now, as far as the giveaway goes, as I said, that's going to be on Facebook exclusively, so the link is in the description. If you're not already following that page, then of course you can decide if you want to see what's going on there. I also do other stuff on there as well, like milestone announcements, giveaway announcements, sometimes hints for videos that are coming up in the coming week. I haven't done that in some time, and the reason for that is purely because I've increased production so much on the channel in recent times, especially since 10k, because I've always planned to try and cover as many driving related games really as possible. Of course you can't cover every game, but I'd like to cover a lot of the best ones, which is why now we're doing something like a dozen different games intermittently. We've got Gran Turismo 2, Gran Turismo 6, Gran Turismo Sport, Forza 2, Forza 3, Forza 4, Forza 7, sometimes Forza 6, Forza Horizon 1, Horizon 3, Project Gotham 3, Project Gotham 4, Test Drive Unlimited and Test Drive Unlimited 2, Ride, and others as well, which I haven't even started yet. I'm also planning to do videos for games like Enthusia, TOCA Race Driver, potentially the Grid games as well, the PS1 generation TOCA Touring Car games, a variety of others. I've got some which I haven't even started playing yet, like GTR Racing, GTR 2, that kind of thing, Total Immersion Racing, which I've still never played, but I'm looking forward to, and various others too, potentially even the Le Mans games also. So production is always planned to be bigger and bigger on the channel, but that actually leads me into another topic, and this is something which is coming up more and more recently. I've had a few comments in the space of the last couple of weeks specifically asking me about this as questions or suggestions, and it's a fair point, it's a fair question, and I have addressed it in the comments, but of course not everyone will see those comments. So, for those who are maybe wondering, people have been asking, could I include some footage in my reviews in particular, especially on Gran Turismo Sport for obvious reasons, those are the most popular videos that I make. Could I include some interior cam footage in my reviews instead of the car just going around the track? That is a very fair question, and it's not something which I haven't thought of. Of course, that is an obvious thing to do, to vary the video, to keep it more interesting potentially, but there are two things to bear in mind. One of them is just a personal preference on the channel, and the second is necessity. Now, the first thing to bear in mind is that my videos have, more often than not, the visual component more so out of necessity. Because if you really think about it, the way that I run my channel is almost like everything is a podcast. It's designed to first and foremost be something that you listen to, and then the visuals are secondary to that, because it's about the audio information rather than the visual information. And my videos have always been very much geared in such a way that you can listen to them as background noise if you want to, like a podcast. And I know from comments and messages from you guys that some of you do that. You like to put on a playlist of one of my series and just listen to it in the background. That's awesome. I personally love doing that with other channels as well. Now, that is one issue, but that's something which can change. Of course, that doesn't necessitate not having an interior cam. What, however, does necessitate for the moment, the reason that I don't do that, is actually a fairly simple one, but it's also one which many of you guys simply don't know about. Some of you who have been on the channel for longer do know, and that reason is time. Time is something which a lot of fans of any YouTube channel really don't have any clue about. You don't know how much time goes into making videos, and even if you do have an idea of how much time goes in from personal experience, you still don't have a clue about conceptual time. I'm talking about the time it takes to think up a video, to plan the coming week, to think of the long-term videos on the channel, to think about how much content do I want to save for the future instead of burning through it all now. This kind of stuff all comes into play, and I don't mean to say that in a way that sounds like it's such hard work. Of course I enjoy what I do on YouTube, I love it, best job in the world, but that is the issue. This is not my only job. I cannot live on YouTube at the moment. The channel is quite simply not at that level. However, I do have a regular job, a part-time job, and that job is about 20 hours a week. This job on YouTube, because it is a job, this is a registered business, it's taxable, etc., etc., this business is not big enough, as I said, to live on, but the time which it takes and the time which I put into YouTube vastly outweighs my part-time job. As I said, the part-time job is 20 hours a week. I spend at least another 40 hours a week just on YouTube alone. Now, that may not seem necessary given the amount of videos that I put out, but you have to bear in mind we're currently doing 4 videos every day, and then weekends at least 2, generally each day. Plus, many of you guys don't know, but I have a second channel, a movie review channel, and I put out a video every week on that channel. And although one video may not sound like much, that standalone video is usually around 15 to 20 minutes long. That's like 2 of the videos on this channel in terms of editing time and recording length. So all in all, I'm currently producing in excess of 25 videos a week. Now, to give you some idea of how that compares to other YouTubers, PewDiePie puts out 7. I put out 25. That's not much of a comparison. Now, of course, he can afford to do that. He has a much larger channel, the types of games that he does are totally different, whereas with me, I'm constantly trying to branch out to increase the scope of the channel, and my goal with the channel, as I've said before, has never been to specialize in just one game. That is not the purpose of the channel. The purpose is to become that guy whenever you think of racing games. That guy who produces at least something for most of the best racing games that you can think of, and for the most nostalgic racing games of your childhood. I want to be that guy, and of course we're not there yet, but we are certainly getting there. We produce so much content for so many different games, it's getting pretty ridiculous how many playlists I've got, in the region of 90 separate playlists, spanning, well, many of the games that I discussed earlier, including others too, like Assetto Corsa, Drive Club, and Tourist Trophy even, or even CORRUPTEDDISC, or Road Trip Adventure, as it's sometimes called, and a variety of others as well. But the point is, the amount of time which it takes each week for me to produce the videos that I put out is a lot more than you think. Even if you make videos yourself, trust me, it's a lot more. I already said that it's over 40 hours, but especially if you are younger and you haven't had a full-time job, it's hard to imagine what a 40-hour job is like. That's a full-time job, 40 hours a week. I do that as well as another job, so I work at least 60 hours a week. Now, to put that into perspective, each video, for instance, a Gran Turismo Sport review that I put out, it might be, what, 7 or 8 minutes long, generally speaking. That video takes at least 7 or 8 minutes to record the audio for, by definition. It also takes 7 or 8 minutes of driving in the game for me to have a replay to voice over. Then another 7 or 8 minutes to capture that replay. Then another 10 or 15 minutes to edit it, to finalize it, to put the finishing touches on. Then another 10 minutes to process the video. And then another 10 or 15 minutes to upload it to YouTube, and another 5 minutes to add all the tags, put the playlists at the end of the video, the title, the thumbnail, all that kind of stuff. So all in all, those 7-minute reviews take the best part of an hour or more. Generally like an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours to do that video. Times that by 25 videos a week, and you're looking at a minimum of 50 or 60 hours, plus my 20-hour part-time job. Now, I'm not complaining about that. I love it. I do plan to give up my part-time job as soon as I can. That is a fair way off yet. I would say at least another year, if not more. Probably more, actually. But with that being said, you're probably thinking, well, surely it's not that difficult to add a little bit of cockpit cam footage. Well, think about it. What does that involve? Well, in order for me to record that in a way that doesn't look jinky, I would need to record the normal replay, which as we said is 7 or 8 minutes. Then I would need to again go back to the start of the replay and then change the camera mode, start the capture on the PS4 again as a new file, and then record a couple of minutes on top. Now, a couple of minutes doesn't sound like much, and on its own it's not much. But in a similar way to how the views work on my channel, many of my videos, of which there are like 3,500 now on the channel, don't get a huge amount of views. Some of them only get 1 or 2 views a day, especially the older ones. But because of the raindrop effect, which I've mentioned before, my daily views are insane. Especially for the channel size. For a 15,000 subscriber channel to bring in around 12 to 15,000 views per day, which is what we currently do, if not more, that is pretty much unparalleled for a channel of this size. That just doesn't happen. It is happening because of that small but constant effect. In a likewise way, a couple of minutes of extra footage per video adds up a lot more quickly than you'd think. So, in other words, how many of those videos per week are reviews, where you could do cockpit cam footage? Well, it's not just Gran Turismo Sport, you have to factor in the other ones too, so let's say there are at least 6 for Gran Turismo Sport. So that's 6 immediately. That's 12 minutes, let's say. That's 2 minutes of cockpit footage. Immediately, that's 12 extra minutes. So that's 12 minutes. Then you've got Forza. That's Forza 2, 3, 4, 7, and Horizon. That's another 10 minutes, 2 for each. So now we're on 22 minutes. And I think you get the idea. Over the course of a week, plus the time between menus, capturing, uploading, downloading, processing, editing, you're looking at easily another hour or 2 a week. When you're already working over 60 hours, I'm not really looking to work another hour. So as much as I would love to do that, and I really would love to, and I do plan to, that's the most important thing that you guys will of course want to hear, I do plan to have cockpit cam footage and extra editing and stuff like that in the future, but the simple fact is, as weird as it may sound, I just don't have that kind of time, because as much as I love YouTube, I have a life outside of it, and I'm not looking to spend every waking moment producing videos. So I have to set myself a limit, and for the moment, the videos serve their purpose. The visuals of the car going around the track serve just that purpose, to just be something to look at while you're listening to the information, because the audio is the most important thing. Even in the tune setup videos, the audio is the most important thing. So overall, that's basically it. So of course people will still ask, for instance people who haven't seen this video, but I hope for some that clears it up a bit. And as I said, I do plan to in the future, in particular once the channel gets big enough due to both the channel itself and Patreon as well, and we already have some patrons, which is great, VIP members, pit crew members, standard members. That's awesome. I really appreciate you guys. You're listed in the bottom of every video in the description. And once we get to the point where this channel will outweigh my part-time job, which it currently doesn't, then I will be able to put that extra time in because, put simply, I will have the extra time. Because as soon as I can go towards YouTube full-time, I can delete my regular job and have 20 fresh hours to work with. So, of course, I do plan to do more, adding Cockpit Cam, adding other interesting things to videos, and trust me, I've dropped this reference and this, well, it's not a reference, but I've dropped this hint a lot of times on the channel ever since before 1,000 subscribers. I've been saying this, but I really mean it. You guys have no idea of the kind of things that I have planned for this channel once we get big enough. And I'm not just talking about content, I'm talking about stuff for you guys, which in a practical, physical way will make a huge difference to some of you. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that, but trust me, if you knew what I have planned for this channel, you'd be very excited. And let's just say, this is the final hint that I'll give, and this is a big hint. Let's just say that if you are of an age to have a driving license, some of the plans that I have will excite you even more. So think about that. And that's the last hint I'm going to give about that, for now at least. So long term, I do hope to add more to the channel, but yeah, that's about it for that one. Another thing that I wanted to bring up was about Patreon. And as I said, we have some people on Patreon. We've got VIPs, fans, pit crew members. The link is in every description of the video to check out the Patreon and the perks that you get. And you can also read it without joining. It's not like a tie-in kind of thing. So even if you just want to browse that, you can very easily. But one of the things that I've been trying to do, and I'm still waiting for a response from them, is that although some of you guys might not know it, I have a TeePublic page where you can actually get t-shirts of the channel. And I've bought some of my own t-shirts. I have the HSG official t-shirt. I have some of the monster t-shirts that I've drawn. I recently released a brand new one. I'm going to do a debut video for that later today for the logo of the second channel, SHM. And I don't get those t-shirts for free. So it's not like I'm bigging up this merch just for the sake of earning cash. I paid for them all myself, full price, because I wanted to see what they were like. And I love them. I've bought like 6 of them. I also bought the trainers, incidentally. I know many people were like, oh, who's going to pay $229 for HSG trainers? Well, I'm the only person to buy them so far. So, of course, I didn't expect them to be popular, and I may even end production so that mine are the only pair in the world. That would be pretty cool, especially if I eventually gave them away or sold them or whatever. And I've still only worn them once, so they're in perfect condition. But that goes to show as well, I bought those trainers. I didn't get them for free. I didn't even get a discount. I bought those full price at the time, because if I'm going to offer something to the community, why shouldn't I pay full price? I mean, at least then you get the full experience of what you're asking other people to do. So I have that experience of buying the shirts and knowing what they're like, and I love them. I wear my HSG shirt in particular a lot. It feels great. But that in particular is something which I've been trying to link in with my Patreon, because something which a couple of people have asked for, and it's something which I really want to do, is to do t-shirt giveaways. It's such an obvious thing to do. It's one of the, one of the most obvious fan giveaways to do. A free t-shirt, of course. But the problem is, there's currently no system that I can find of having a free t-shirt option linked from TeePublic to Patreon. So I've contacted the team. I've actually contacted them again today and a few days ago as well to try and get them on board with some kind of system where I can get a certain amount of codes or something like that, so that I can, for instance, if you donate to Patreon, let's say you donate pit crew level or VIP level, then I will give you, as part of that giveaway, for instance, or not a giveaway, as part of the perks, a code that you can then go over to my TeePublic storefront, which is also linked in the description if you want to check that out and see the designs. You can go over to that, pick a t-shirt that you want, select the size and the colour and the type, then input the code that I gave you, and you get it for free. Now, of course, it's not for free because TeePublic doesn't give away free t-shirts. So what I'm asking them to do is there some way that I could give my fans, you guys, codes so that you could get it for free, but then what it actually does is charges the sale to my bank account so that I'm still paying for it, TeePublic is still getting paid, but it allows me to give it to you for free. Now you're probably thinking, well, why don't you just buy some and then post them? Well, think about it. It's the same reason why you couldn't do that with shoes. Different people are different sizes. Different people want different colours. So to make it more streamlined, to make it more efficient so that people can choose it for themselves, I want some kind of system where that can happen. And once that does happen, I will, or if it does happen, I'm hoping that it will. And there's got to be some way of doing that. Surely other channels do that as well. Maybe not with TeePublic. Maybe that's the problem. But some way of integrating that so that, as I said, pit crew members or VIP members can immediately get this code and get themselves a HSG t-shirt. And we've got the t-shirt comes in the original black and red font with the logo. There's a black edition, there's a white edition, which is just a solid colour. As I said, I released the SHM one today, and there's also a couple of custom monster ones that I drew myself for The Thing and for No Added Sugar, which is a horror movie parody of like a killer donut, like Simpsons style. So that kind of stuff, I'd love to give people the opportunity of getting a free one, which is such an obvious perk to have, but I'm trying to work around that at the moment. And as I've said before, both for Patreon and non-Patreon members, I would love to hear your thoughts on what perks you would like to see. Of course, there are some things that can't happen, maybe some things that would be too expensive to do, but I'm always open to suggestions of things that you think would be a good tie-in, maybe for any of the patron levels, because the different levels are listed on the site. There are 3 for the moment, and yeah, so I always appreciate feedback, whether you're already a supporter or not, or even if you don't have a plan to be. A good suggestion is still just that, a good suggestion. So if you do have any, then of course slap those down below, or send it to me in a private message. Either way, it works. So that's about it for this particular Beards and Cars, I think. So check out Facebook later on to see the winner today of, or the 5 winners actually, of the games. And then tomorrow for the winner of the grand prize. I don't think actually, thinking back earlier in the video, I don't think I mentioned how many people entered. There was close to 90 people all in. That's pretty cool. So I've already written down all the names. We're going to put those in the hat. And we had, I think it was 56 people enter for the grand prize and 31 people enter for the games. Of course, the grand prize was always going to get more people entering, but I was surprised how many people did enter for the games, which is still pretty cool. I know if it was me, I would enter for the games. Not just because you get more of a choice, but also because you have statistically more of a chance of winning, because there's only 1 winner for the car, whereas 5 winners for the games. So you've got multiple chances more. But overall, that's it for this particular episode. Of course, I always appreciate questions or topics that you'd like to see discussed, even Q&A type stuff. It doesn't have to be related to the channel. It could be car talk, YouTube drama. We've discussed drama before, like with PewDiePie and Rob Dyke and the demonetization, how that affected this channel, how that birthed the Patreon for this channel. And now, of course, there's all the Logan Paul trash, and finally YouTube getting something done about it, but maybe that's for another time. So, of course, slap your topics, that's the word. I mean, I'm new to the English language, I've only been speaking it for my entire life. But yeah, slap your topics down below. And yeah, apart from that, I'll see you guys next time. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.